Let's talk. Let's talk about Kenneka Jenkins.
Savvy, let him know.
Hey, it's Trey. Turn it up.
Wavy, ooh, yeah, wavy, ooh, yeah, wavy, ooh, yeah, wavy, ooh, yeah,
What's good, Savvy Crew? Coming back with another video. And on this one, a little touchy subject, a little touchy topic, but we're going to be talking about the Kenneka Jenkins murder. Now, some of us is thinking, well, no, I ain't going to even say some. A lot of us is still thinking that was a real event that took place, just like the Emmett Till thing. Okay, so I ain't gonna waste no time. We just gonna jump into this, but I do want to say this real quick. A lot of these events is staged. 9/11, all that stuff. There was just so-called a shooting of 2 National Guards. They deployed 500 troops to Washington D.C. Okay, so a lot of these, and they try to blame it on like a terrorist, of course. But a lot of these events like that, they do this and then they blame it on, some other places, because they trying to bring in this surveillance, new world order. Okay, so hold on. Yeah. All right, let's get. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this video, man. But one more thing before I start, yeah, man. It just be all ritualistic, just ritualistic murders, pretty much. Same thing with the Zach TV. I remember when all this was unfolded, man. This shit was crazy. But let's jump into it, though.
It ain't worth it, bro, to be fucking with these high powerful people unless you got God on your side.
So tell me this. So yo, I got.
I just want to stop it right there real quick already. He said, fucking with these high powerful people, man, you better have God on your side. Now, this was before they wanted all of this was before, because first off, we got to remember they have a plan. So everything is supposed to happen according to that plan. If anything happens too early, or somebody exposes it, and you know what I'm saying, before the plan is supposed to take place, they're going to take you out. You know what I'm saying? Or silence you, pay you, something, hush money, something. They're going to, you know what I'm saying? So they wanted the awakening to happen around this time, 2020, the lockdown, everybody in the house, bored, so they get to searching up shit. So they wanted everything to happen around this time, according to their plan. And people was trying to come out and release stuff about what they was doing and, all this other stuff earlier before the plan, or they had the person that was supposed to come out and tell you some secret information about, what's going on. And I said secret information because, like I said, they it's a game. They tell these people to come out and say this stuff. There's no such thing as a real whistleblower. Most of these people is the top head person, like the motherfucking, you know what I'm saying? Like they know you know what I'm saying? They know what's gonna happen. So they come out. That pretty much just like this analogy I always use. If I work for a car company and I know, or I'm the manager or the boss, I'm the boss of a car company. I know in the next 15 to 100 years what's going to happen with these cars and blueprints models because I'm the motherfucking boss. You feel me? I'm the one who revised this shit and look at it and edit all this shit. I come up with some plans probably on my own, some help with some. So I know what's going to happen because I made the plans for it to happen, or the plans was made for it to happen. Same thing with the world.
Everybody know I got the Irene interview, and I got 3 more powerful interviews. I really, really, really want to drop them and leave this shit alone. But my life been threatened numerous times. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't drop this shit. If you drop it, you put the hotel in danger. All type of other shit I don't even talk about. I just stay with the rappers now. But
he said, I don't even talk about it. I just stay with the rappers now. He pretty much, I wasn't as woke then as I am now. I was waking up. I was on my journey of waking up. Now I'm awoke. So looking back and looking at, shout out Black Balloons too, by the way. I don't know if I shout him out. This coming from his channel. But back then, because I was kind of too young to kind of understand this shit too. And I ain't had nobody to talk about it, you know what I'm saying, break it down, explain it to me, and, all that type of shit. So I'd be watching these videos and wouldn't really know what it, was exactly talking about. But this one in particular, I didn't really catch all the subliminals he was throwing in his mug. He said he'd be with the rappers now, meaning the rappers know exactly what's going on. They know what they part of this shit too. They puppets and gotta be pulled by the strings and manipulated too, my nigga. They know what's gonna happen, or even if they don't know what's gonna happen, they gotta play along with the shit that's happening. Even if they do search into this shit on their own free time and learn what's going on, they can't say nothing. You feel me? Because it's just like your job. If you know what's going on at your job, but you try to say some shit, ain't shit gonna happen. You feel me? But either you gonna get fired or they gonna say, nigga, your ass tripping, ain't nothing going on, because they gonna believe the other person who probably been there longer than you. You feel me? So, yeah, this shit, yeah.
Should I just drop it and say fuck what everybody gotta say?
They definitely took out Zach TV now that I'm rewatching this shit back.
Man, I'm going to leave it up to you, man. What you need to do, don't ask me, man. You need to go into prayer, man. You need to ask the universal Most High God what you should do. Because when you playing with this type of stuff.
But if you ask me, though, because this was around the time YouTube was starting to, gain traction and blow up, more people was watching it. And like I've been saying in my other videos, a lot of these YouTubers, I wasn't trying to talk that much today. Because, I got to go in there and still cook a little bit, do this cooking. But I'm going to try to get through this as quick as I can. But, damn, I forgot where I was going. Oh, yeah, I think Zach TV might have been in on this shit, because that was around the time YouTube was gaining traction, blowing up. More and more people and more podcasts and more just celebrities coming over to the YouTube space. Because they seen everything was becoming, it was becoming more like personal. That's not the word I'm looking for, but like more real life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not really like all edited, highly filmed movie production. You feel me? Like just some regular people like me on the camera talking. But that it feels more real than, you know what I'm saying, a celebrity on TV and, you know what I'm saying, shit like that. But I'm starting to think this was all a script. You feel me? But I don't know. But yeah, definitely some. It's some shit going on, man. But I can't say if he was in on it. I can't say if he wasn't. But I know it's definitely a script being ran, and he might have came out with the information too early, or they didn't want him to say this information and learn that what we know now, because it's great, boy. I love that everybody is waking up to the fact of what's going on in this world. But this was around like what, 2019, 2018, 2017, 20 somewhere around there, I think, and maybe even a little more back. But yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know.
If you ain't ready for spiritual warfare, don't even go in this direction, because
all we can really do is just observe what's going on. Honestly, that's all you can really just do. Don't let it trigger, because they do this shit to trigger your emotions as well. So you can't let it trigger your emotions. None of this shit. Just see it for what it is and take it for what it is, because a lot of this shit is just energy harvesting and rituals that they pulling up on us.
all wars ain't physical. All wars ain't physical, man. Everybody want to talk about what happened, but nobody talks about God, the real God. Nobody talks about him, man. But it came to a point in my life I had to face up and say, yo, you know what? God real, and his word is real. And that's when we leave God out the equation, that's when we fall short. For real, bro.
And why Zach looking like he don't want to hear that shit? But I think this was all a stage, bro.
This shit right here is deep, bro. These people been running the world, man, before we even came here, man. They in every city and they in every fucking town.
He said, hey, in every city and every town. He ain't lying. Might even have some in your family. You never know.
What is going on with y'all, man? It is Black Balloon, and I'm coming back with another video, man, so y'all already know what's going on. Alright, y'all. Now, check this out. To my surprise. So y'all remember in yesterday's video, right? I said the whole Celeste situation had reminded me of Kenneka Jenkins. Now, you know the phone be listening to you. So I'm scrolling on TikTok, right? And boom. Stuff start popping up about Kenneka Jenkins' mom. And I said, ain't nobody been talking about the Kenneka Jenkins case. There's maybe like one or two channels that consistently still post about her. So I said, what is this? So I went to look up Kenneka Jenkins' mom, recent stuff. And turns out she just made a Facebook post talking about her settlement and how she took the money to be quiet about her daughter's death. Now, my mind was damn near completely blown because I had just brought up Kenneka Jenkins, and not even 4 hours later, I come across clips of the mom recently talking. Now, this is the post. We can start the video off, and I'll read this real quick. And we're going to get into the settlement. We're going to get into a couple of clips of people talking about it, because a lot of accounts, anything new comes out about this case, people are going to talk about it immediately. That's why I started the video with that Zach TV clip, because y'all remember everything. I did like 2 videos about Zach TV.
And I just want to say real quick, if you don't know, go search Industry Hoax channel. Industry Hoax channel, he talks about this, and I don't think he talked about Kenneka, but He break down and talk about a whole lot of shit, and that will wake you up to the fact of what's really going on. So go check out Industry Oak channel, and preferably to start off, because he was making videos on Tupac, and then he switched to the whole industry. But preferably go watch the Emmett Till and the Freedom Riders and Little Rock Nine, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? All these stuff for like black, speaking directly to the black people right now, that stuff that we grew up on, talked about, like the, you know what I'm saying, just like I mentioned, Emmett Till, Freedom Riders, Little Rock Nine, the Tulsa Mass, you know, just stuff that we grew up talking about. And yeah, just go watch those videos, and how a lot of that shit was staged. It wasn't really it wasn't what it was. It wasn't real.
Y'all remember everything that he got into, right? The case was either
but I don't even know if I finished my point, what I was saying, but they do a lot of this shit to bring in. Oh, I did finish it, but I'm gonna touch it over a little bit. They bring it in to they do this shit to bring in this new world order, surveillance, security, AI, robot run world. 9/11 was how they first brought in the first surveillance type shit, you know what I'm saying? Mass surveillance type shit. They do this to bring it in. Like I said, they just had this 2 National Guard shooting where they bring in 500, where they brought in 500 troops to Washington, D.C. That was what I was originally going to make a video on. But this ties into it too, because it's all a scam. It's all a ploy just for them to bring in they stuff. They tell us this stuff will help us, just like surveillance, all this shit. But it's really a way for them to push their agenda up on us, and their convenient, or you know, push stuff in a convenience way up on us, and it make our life easier. But at the same time, they you know what I'm saying, we don't really need it, and we really honestly don't need an easy life. But you know, that's a whole nother video. But yeah, man, it's a game.
complete psyop or is a free Masonic ritual. There's nothing in between. Completely fake, or it was a free Masonic ritual. We already know the mom was an Eastern Star. We already know she popped up with the blonde hair, doing all the purple after the supposed death, right? Now, this is what she said. She said, to whom this may concern.
If you don't know about the blonde hair, go search that up. A lot of these artists, go search up artists, how they got blonde hair, and then, you know, their life started going, you know, differently, and then how they either kept it or you know, changed it and did all this other shit. But go search the blonde hair ritual.
I still don't know what happened to my child's life. Clothes, shoes, cell phone, hair, and the list goes on. I have been promised lies, as if once this case is over, I was forced to never talk about my child again. As you can see, over the years, I wasn't as near as vocal as I am today. So after this post, I might be back in court, but I will be getting sued because I was tricked.
And you said, yeah, you see how she say as today. So, like I said, it's a script. They didn't. They knew the age of awakening. Everybody say this. Hey, I was on it too for a second. The age of awakening shit and all this stuff. This the age 2020. The age of awakening. All this stuff. You know, 2025. The age, you know, people. Everybody's supposed to wake up. The whoop. Okay, so even that's a scam. Even that's a psyop in agenda, bro. Because, like I said, if back then you might have got killed for this information, and you come out, or you know what I'm saying, blackmail, gangs, whatever, coming out with information of this sort, or if you was, in on a plan like Kenneka Jenkins' mama, and you came out and said this shit before the time was to come to say this shit, then you might end up get taken out. But she said today she's more vocal because it's the age of awakening. They push these social, even so. Listen, I'm gonna get in. I'm gonna get in on it in that video. I'm gonna do another video on that. But for right now, bro, just know a lot of these memes and shit like that goes viral and all this other shit, bro. Just know whoever controls the whoever controls the memes control the world. I'm gonna just say that. A lot of these accounts that we think may be real people, if you don't know them and you just following people on social media, it may not be no real people. But we gonna do a whole nother video.
By they will get me answers. Give me her clothes and her cell phone and anything that belongs to her when she died that was on her body. That was a lie. Once they finished investigation, allegedly people I trusted. Some of this stuff don't make sense. They told me that somehow Kay got out the back door. I never heard how which door could get out, but they never told me how or where. Allegedly, they never told the media. That's why I know the media will lie, allegedly.
Because, and if you think about it, well, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead because, it's in today's society. It would be easier. People would think it would be harder to pull this off, but it would honestly be easier because a lot of us ain't even looking, don't even know that we in a war anymore. A lot of us think like once we just got freed, it was over with. You feel me? Like there was no more problems. We back to being regular old people, I guess. I don't know. But it's still a war going on. It's still a battle, bro. And they is attacking us every day, bro. Taking down our HP, my nigga. And a lot of us is walking around with low health like a motherfucker. Because of the foods. Listen, I was going to make a video on, I might still do it, but I'm probably not because I can honestly just put this in videos when I'm talking, when, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But even our clothes is killing us, my nigga. The chemicals and shit in the fabric of the clothes, my nigga. That's why that's why our ancestors used to wear hemp clothes, bro. So, yeah, we still in a battle, and a lot of us forgot, which is why it's easier for them to even get over on us. Maybe back then it was harder because a lot of us knew, like, we was closer to the time we got free, so we knew, like, this shit it ain't really no game, you feel me? But a lot of us thinking this shit is a game.
So I can invite any of you to go. I was in pain going through my cancer battles. They forced us, had us in rooms for hours, and would not let us go until we said what they wanted us to say. They made us accept what they wanted to give us. I'm literally living without my child, and I'm rising above, staying strong, and holding on to hope, even without you. P.S. I was made to do a recorded video hours after we were held during one of my child's birthdays. At the same time, I was sitting in a meeting about another child who wasn't even living. I had nothing to give my baby that day, but I knew a surprise was waiting once we left that meeting. Before the rain came hard, I've stayed quiet long enough, but at this point, I'm simply speaking my truth. And then she said, now let's make Americans great. Purple hearts.
I said, don't fear. I'm about to go to jail for you if I need to. I have a mic on my thing. I said, whatever happens, we doing this together for Kenneka.
She said, sitting in a meeting about this shit. So they be having meetings about this shit. They know what's gonna happen. She pretty much, Kenneka Jenkins' mom was a sellout, and they have to do the. They have to, if you in that shit, you have to do sacrifices to even continue. They do it to continue the fame and the fortune, riches, all that shit. They have to sacrifice their firstborn or somebody in their family that they love or somebody that they love around them. I think I did a video on this, but I definitely was talking about it in my videos, and that comes even from the ancient Indians or ancient our ancestors, indigenous Indians, bro. I ain't gonna make this video that long, but just I talked about it in another video, bro.
And if I lose my life or I go to jail, I'm okay with it. That's how much I believed in this corny ass shit. We was about to move the mountain. And as we began to walk, Teresa said out of her mouth to me, because I will never forget her words, peoples are going to get hurt. I know what happened with my baby. And if I let you do this, they going to be mad at me. And I looked at her and I said, you know what happened to your baby? Why didn't you tell me? I said, Teresa, stay back, fall back. And she had people who were standing with her, and I went up to that line, and that video clip that I just showed you is the moment.
Once again, shout out Industry Hopes. If you see now, like I do it too, I do it a lot, and no, I'm not reading nothing. I'm not looking at nothing. You can tell how I'm talking and how, what I'm saying. I'm not reading nothing. But when you on the news, I took this class in high school, photography class and video class. It was really like a news type, broadcasting class type shit. But because we had a school news, okay, and the kids would make the school news for what's going on that week and what's happening that day and all this other shit. They would talk about the weather too, all this other shit. But okay, so and we would watch it in the mornings in first period. But anyways, so they have these cameras you can pretty much. They have a camera where you can read, or they got something on the side of the camera where they're reading the screen, so that way when they look to the side, it's not as noticeable, or they have a big old projector prompt on the wall somewhere. So I feel like he reads something. And you can see that a lot of them will be looking straight and, kind of turn their eyes a little bit, you feel me, and look at something, or, you know what I'm saying? That's what he's doing a little bit.
But I start cussing out the police. But my mind was still trying to process what the woman just said. So I'm cussing out.
But even if he ain't reading nothing, this story sound like it's a script, like it was memorized.
Out, but I wasn't going to now try to fight the line because she said turn around. But I'm like, this is what we needed. This the moment. And they cannot do nothing to us because this is under the Constitution. We can walk down here and we got the manpower. I went back to Teresa Martin, going down memory lane. And I said to her, I said, Teresa, who is the they going to be mad at you? And why do you care? We want them mad. And she looked at me. And it was a look at her face like, I got to figure this out. I got to stop you. And I looked at her. And I was like, it's okay. Don't be afraid. And she was like, We just need to go back. We just need to go back. I want peace. I want peace. And she began to say, but God, but God, but God. I just want peace. I just want peace. And I said, Teresa, who are they? Why do you care? And we may never get this moment again. We are about to crack this city's wall. That's what I said. She said, we just need to go back. If I would have known what I know now, I would have walked Teresa Martinez to that line of cops. I would have stood next to her, and I would have told everybody in the public, Teresa Martin is looking for a way out. She has already made her deal. Now, that's what I would have did if I would have known, but I didn't know. So we went back, we finished protesting, we escorted her to her car. Not too much later, she would be online calling off the protest.
So, I'm confused. I'm confused. Let's get into some stuff because, like, I've been reading a lot of comments. It sounds like that money done ran out, or she just being told we keeping this rabbit hole going as long as we can. Like I said, it's either all fake and
if you don't know about protest, I don't know if this video cut off, I hope not, but that's why I'm trying to make it quick too. But if you don't know about protests, a lot of them is fake too. BLM, Black Lives Matter, all that shit. When you try to start a rebellion or an uproar, it's the internet. If you putting it on the internet, even if you're not, if they find out or catch wind about what's happening, they gonna either beat you to it and go put out a fake little riot on the street, a little protesting people on the street. They gonna beat you to it, or they gonna infiltrate what you got and turn that shit inside out, my nigga.
There was never a Kenneka Jenkins. That name was just made up, because remember,
it sure look like it. Look at her eyes. I've been learning how to read faces too a little bit, and your mind's saying a lot right now. Even the fake cover up one side of the face. That's the right side is your side that you show everybody. That's your mama side. That's your person or your public, your public appearance, and then your left side is your dad's side, your personal side, your home, and her left side right now, her personal side, under her eyes, how she got that bump right there, that's a sign. I forgot what he said that's a sign of, or what they said that's a sign of, but if you cover up the side of her face and look at that left side, boy, she is in pain, my nigga. She is in pain. If you look at that left side, if you cover up that right side, it looks like or cover up the left side and look at the right side, it look like I can't really, because I'm trying to get better at my words and the words of expression, like anger, mad, sad, all them other more vocab, intrigued, all them type of words. But yeah, that left side, that right side for sure, boy, that eye is in pain. She in pain.
remember Kendrick Johnson, remember that K and that J, I think it was all connected. Not saying that a murder here in Georgia with the two white boys and Kenneka Jenkins, like as in it was a connected case. I'm just saying the names being so similar,
The tip of her nose is kind of more roundish. That's called a gourmand nose, meaning that she liked more finer things in life. So I definitely do not doubt that she got paid off some money and lost it all.
It all seemed orchestrated, if you get what I'm trying to say. But either a psyop or a Freemasonic ritual. Nothing in between, all right? And this, before I keep going, I just thought it was interesting to hear some other people's take, all right? Check this out.
I like what I'm finna say, but the truth ain't never been scared of a lie. Kenneka Jenkins' mother sold her soul for that $3.7 million. It is no way, no amount of money, none could make me turn my back on my child. If my child was taken off this earth in a way that wasn't intended for her, I need them answers. She had the whole world behind her. The whole world. People lost their life trying to find out the truth.
Now you see the difference. Now look at that photo right there. Look, I want that. I want the bar to come down. Okay. Now look at this photo when she was there with her, with Kenneka. Look at cover. Look at the left eye, the left eye, the personal, don't look like she's in. Cause it looked just like Wallow and Gilly, how he supposedly so-called lost his son as he was Gilly, as he was blowing up with their podcast, $1 million worth of game. But yeah, man, you can tell the difference night and day on her face.
For you, those demons are eating her up. Kenneka Jenkins' memories, the memories of her child, are eating her alive. She probably can't sleep at night. She can't eat. They didn't force you. The devil always gives you a choice. He have to give you a choice. It's written in spiritual
What I tell you, I done learned how to read faces, bro.
law. He just knew what your soul really wanted. You didn't value your daughter's life. You valued money. They would have had to take me out.
You can also see doctor problems too. Like, if you're a doctor and you know how to read faces, you can see like if they got colon, kidney problems, all types of shit. You feel me? You can see that on the face.
Get what I'm saying? Especially if people that was riding for her got their life took in the process. You can't expect sympathy from the same people that you told to leave it alone. You begged us to leave it alone after you got what your soul really wanted, and that's that 3.7 million. The devil knew she valued.
And I ain't gonna lie, he ain't lying about that. But a lot of us value money to a certain degree, and it's because we have to. Money isn't worth nothing. It's only worth something because we believe it's worth something. It's a piece of paper, my nigga. We could have anything could be valuable. My nigga, if they wrote a nigga rock could have been what we bartered with. And it pretty much is, my nigga. Diamonds. Gold. Forms of rocks, my nigga.
Money
Pearls and
over
shit.
her child, bro. And that's exactly what he used to tempt her.
It's only valuable because we believe it has value.
And we all know once you sell your soul.
And honestly, diamonds is worth something because it's natural and it comes from the ground. Now they starting to make lab grown shit. Them motherfuckers ain't worth shit. But if it comes from the ground, it's always going to be valuable. If it's made from man, that shit ain't shit.
So, bro, it's gonna be hard to get it back if you can get it back.
Now, ain't that the truth? One of the most important parts about that clip was all the people in the world who was investigating this case. One of the biggest murder mysteries I have ever seen on the internet. Y'all remember, we even talked about murder mystery theater.
Even I was for a little bit.
Murder mystery companies that are based in Chicago, New York. I think there's one here in Atlanta. We talked about the theories of it being created, like the entire Kenneka Jenkins case being a legitimate murder mystery that was written. We talked about that. I don't know if y'all remember that video, but there are literal murder mystery, like theater, basically, where people go and watch murder mysteries that are written.
Even Emmett Till was.
So many different theories to try and crack.
Like I said, go watch Industry Hoax channel.
this case. I remember the one thing I used to always say: cases like this were never meant to be solved. And that's what made me believe it was a real murder mystery that was written, that was completely fake, because it was never meant to be solved. They gave us something knowing it wouldn't, it wouldn't be justice to the public. Like, it's like, okay, we're going to give them that her cause of death was walking in the freezer and she froze and, yeah. It's like, they know you're not going to accept that. Doesn't matter that it's closed. No one is responsible. No single person. Yeah, the mom seeked out $50 million in damages, but only ended up getting 10. Lawyers got 3.5.
And listen. And now that he said that, bro, I just got a revelation. You hear me? Listen. Guess what else happened now? They saying, who else was froze? The David case, the David Ford, whatever case, whatever his name is, that was Celeste. Now they saying supposedly her body was frozen. Now I'm starting to believe if the body was so-called frozen, it was definitely a ritual. They were saying it was frozen, so they could find the body. It would stay more intact so they could find it. So now, if you hear they saying it's frozen or something, the body was frozen in a death, 9 times out of 10, it was a ritual or something, probably.
5. Other family members got 2.7. The mom got 3.7 herself in a wrongful death lawsuit. But now she's coming out saying that money was supposed hush money. It was shut you up money. Don't say anything. Don't contest this money.
And I was gonna say that too, but I'm glad he brought all that up because I was thinking I was gonna say too. But if you think about it, I don't know if she was the only child or not, but how could the other family members not want to look into this and get justice for this shit, or just find something, some type of something, you feel me? But they was quiet this whole time. That's how you know something was up.
Supposedly what it was. And who really knows? I mean, unless, people in Chicago can vouch that she got that money. She moved out the hood.
That hush puppy money.
She started living better. I mean, we ain't see that money hit her account. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people saying, oh, the money running out. I really like that clip about, her giving up her soul for $3.7 million and basically forgetting about her daughter. And a lot of the clips on TikTok is like, no amount of money, would suffice for me not wanting to know the truth about my daughter. Like, why is the mom coming out and saying this now? Basically, a full 2 years after the settlement, why would you come out now and talk about that you were silenced? You were basically, forced to take what they wanted to give y'all in order to stay silent. I mean, if you want to believe the whole Kenneka Jenkins thing is real to begin with, and she really lost.
Because it's the age of awakening, when really it was a planned awakening.
Lost her daughter, then it's like, yeah,
they start trends, buddy. They know if they start a trend, a lot of y'all is gonna follow that move. So if they start a trend on, I don't even know what trends be on TikTok, but because I don't be on TikTok. But I'm gonna just say if they start a trend on fashion hauls, because I know that was a big thing. It still might be, but if they start a trend on fashion hauls, they know everybody gonna start doing that. If they start a trend on this, they know that everybody gonna start doing this. If they start a trend on this, conspiracy theories and waking up to what's going on for real in the world, they know people is gonna start doing it.
You gave up your essence. You gave up your soul for that money.
Half mine.
and you shut quiet. You know, you didn't give a damn about the truth because your daughter gone. You got over $3 million. You feel like you hit the jackpot in life. I mean, that money is powerful. What they say, that love of that money is powerful. And when it's in your heart and that's your desires, like, you know, the devil gonna give it to you. You know, but it's gonna come at a cost, especially when you're getting it that way. But, you know, a part of me, it's really hard to believe the case. You know what I'm saying? It's really hard to believe.
That's why I stopped rapping. But I know there's ways around it, but I don't even want to deal with that because if you do become big enough and you still don't want to, sign or just join their groups or, just do anything with them, they will blackball you. Now, I'm not saying you still can't make a little bit of money, but I don't even want to just deal with that.
Believe that it wasn't completely orchestrated, that it wasn't a ritual. It's hard to believe that, you know, the girl even exists in the first place. It's hard to believe that she really died. It's hard to believe anything about the case, even with Zach TV. You know, we dug deep into Zach TV's death. A lot of people see his death as being the result of the Kenneka Jenkins case. That's why people were saying, like, people had
Because hold on.
back, people lost their life over this case. But
because if she was real, I know she had to have some friends and shit like that. So why haven't they still been, what I'm saying, on the case? Like I said, like friends and family and shit. Or why ain't they been posted about it, or still posting pictures about it? You know what I'm saying? Because everything about this shit was a mystery because it was made to be that way.
you know, there's also very well documented, you know, articles and stuff on the guys who actually killed Zach TV, you know, and why he was killed. We went over that as well. I got that video where we fully break down what we thought, Zach TV death was. We went over the article of the exact guys who killed him, who were caught for it, who were released. Some of them, if not all of them, were released. But I think a couple of them are dead now as well. I think like 2 of them ended up getting killed. But they were released under some kind of law. Some kind of law. I can't remember what it was, but all that stuff was questionable. There was damn near, a very good chance Zach TV was not killed because of this case. If you really dig deep into it, there's a very good chance he was not killed because of Kenneka Jenkins. A lot of people don't know that. They just tie it together and think Zach TV, because of all the exposing that he was doing around the case, that, his death was directly related. But there's a chance that it wasn't. That's all I'm saying. Like I said, I have a hard time believing, the name Kenneka Jenkins is even attached to a real person. I don't know, y'all. This case has been such a mystery since day one that there's no definitive answer to anything. I don't care what nobody say. Whatever you think you know, whatever you think you found, you don't know nothing. We don't know nothing. There's no real answer. There's just no real answer. And I think that's all I'm gonna end it with. I just wanted to get on here and talk about this because she literally just posted that a couple, maybe 2 days ago from when I'm recording this. And yeah, man, I thought y'all would, definitely like this one. Y'all do me a favor, run the likes up on this video.
But all we do know is that it was done by a sacrifice. It was done by somebody within those organizations. And that's honestly all we really need to know. Once you know this stuff, you don't really learn this. Hold on. Okay, so that's it. But so when you learning this stuff, man, you don't learn it and searching in on Freemasonry and all that shit. You don't learn this trying to let me see how I can put this, because I feel like a lot of people learn this stuff and then fall into this stuff, because once again, like I said, it's not a awakening because we are awakening. It's an awakening because it's a planned awakening, and it's people they have planned this to happen. So people are waking up because they know if, once again, they set this as a trend, just like clothes. There's clothes that be out for years and don't nobody care about it until there's this one celebrity or this one influencer, social media influencer, that says it all. Influencer. They're influencing you to do something. So once again, man, I am glad that people waking up to the fact of what's going on, but it's not really because people are just waking up necessarily on their own. It's because it's becoming a trend, and whatever you see a lot, and if you're on social media a lot, that's what you're gonna fall into the trap of. That's what. Once again, I'm gonna do a whole video on this, but I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one.